Hey everyone, it's the Angry Honey Badger, and it is time for us to take a look at the most recent patch notes that's being released by Riot. This is patch 3.6. Lots of things happening and getting things ready for Lissandra, all types of things. So, they have a patch preview video, and they cover some things very well in it, so you can check that out. It's on their site, it's on YouTube, it's all over the place. But I'm going to cover a few of their key points because I agree with them on a lot of things in this patch. So we'll go ahead and just jump right on in to what's happening in this patch. First off, we do have the re-releases of Sejuani and of Trundle. You can go check out the new Champion Spotlight videos that they have created for both of them. I think they're both going to be fine. I don't see anything that bothers me. And I don't think they actually changed them as much as I think some people thought. And the builds that I have for both of these champions, gonna be completely honest, I think the items for both of them are gonna still pretty much stay the same. Obviously the abilities are gonna be a little bit different, but those items are really not gonna make their kit weird in any way, so should be fine there. I'll probably start playing Trundle a little bit more again because I've always enjoyed playing him, and we'll just see what happens from there. But you can go check out their videos that they made for them and kind of go see what they're all about now. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the other champion changes. We have Brand and Pyroclasm now properly bounces to other targets after hitting a champion affected by Blaze. We have Corki, just a little bug fix on Missile Barrage, just nothing too big there. We have Mundo, and we will see this down in a second too with Olaf. Basically, if you can cast a ability based off of health, you can cast it now. You won't be reduced to below 1 health. So you can cast it at any health value you have. So if it costs 40 to cast and you only got 30, it'll let you cast it, but it'll take you to 1 hit point. So I think that's the way they're going to do that. You'll see the same thing with Reckless Swing on Olaf as well below. Next, a couple changes to Draven. They're actually going to revert one of the changes they had to his Spinning Axe, and just to kind of make it go back to what it was doing. And then Axe Drop location will no longer be placed on the far side of impassable terrain. So there's a little fix there. Some tweaks to Pulse Fire Ezreal skin. There were some just issues with gold pop-ups and the death animation going off twice if you leveled up True Shot Barrage while you were dead. So just a couple little fixes, nothing that's going to affect him. We have Fiddlesticks where Drain Life. There's a fix on this where you would actually be draining from someone and then he'd stop standard attacking after the drain was done channeling. So he's going to continue to standard attack now, so it should help him out in the jungle if he just would stop after doing a drain. Now he'll continue to auto attack. We do have some changes to Karma in this patch. We're actually seeing some buffs. We have Inner Flame. The damage is going to be increased on that earlier on. We have Focused Resolve, where the cooldown reduction is going to be going on that, so you get that to be a little bit lower later game, so it's going to be up more often. Inspire, cooldown reduction on that a little bit, and movement speed being increased on it early on. Also, Mantra is going to see a cooldown reduction as well as the game continues. This should actually help Karma out quite a bit. Although I think she's actually in a pretty good place, but if you're good with her now, things just got a lot better for you, so go play Karma some more and enjoy that. We have Lulu now, the mana per level. She's going to get that to be increased a little bit, but Glitter Lance's mana cost is going to be increased as well earlier on because she could spam it a lot and it would hurt a lot early, so they're just going to tweak that for her. Malzahar, we have Call of the Void, mana cost reduced on that later as a game goes on, and then same thing with Null Zone, mana cost reduced on that as you continue to level that up. A big nerf coming to Nasus is Wither. The attack speed amount is being halved, and as much as this is a big nerf, it's a big nerf that needed to happen. It was way too strong. It essentially was a really long stun because 95% movement speed and 95% reduced attack speed basically makes you worthless if you're a standard attacking champion. So they needed to fix this after they did buff other parts of his kit, so he should be good now. He was a little too strong if he was maxing Wither early, so that's something that they are changing. Another thing they're doing is just a little bit of a different thing on Consume. No longer expands the Visionary if the target dies before Consume resolves. Olaf, like I said, that Reckless Swing is going to change now, so just a little bit different now, but I mean, not really different, but you can cast it, you'll just be taken down to 1 health, so just be aware of that. There are some changes happening to Quinn in this patch. Her Binding Assault now has a 0.5 ability power ratio, heightened senses, passive has a passive on it now where when you land it, you get some bonus movement speed. in addition to the attack speed bonus. Vault now briefly interrupts the target that she does it on. Tag Team now also has a maximum speed bonus increase. Base movement speed is also increased. Cooldown is going to be reduced on that at later levels, and then the Sky Strike can now be cast 1 second after activating a Tag Team, so you can jump in and out of it real quick if you just want the damage. They're just trying to help Quinn out because she kind of has to get in a little close to deal the damage, and it sometimes was kind of putting her in a tricky situation, so this should help her play style, and if people are going to play Quinn well, it's going to look like she's overpowered. But it's just probably a good Quinn player because you have to utilize all this right. If you're not, you pretty much either fly in and die or never get to the fight and help in a specific way. So good changes to Quinn for Quinn players. Next we have Rumble. We have Flame Spitter. No longer prevents Rumble from automatically acquiring basic attack targets. Shen. A couple little bug fix on Kai Strike when attacking wards. Sivir. Fleet of Foot also grants the effect when Boomerang Blade and Ricochet hit enemy champions. Thresh, we saw this coming. A few people have talked about it in the Thresh build that I posted. Death Sentence, the damage is actually going to be increased on that, but they're taking its passive and moving that over to Flay, and then the damage is actually going to be reduced on Flay with the new passive over on that from Death Sentence. So you're basically going to want to probably max out your Flay first, and then Death Sentence as your second ability now. It just kind of comes down to how you play him, but little changes to Thresh nonetheless. Next we have Udyr, and they're going to change some stuff about him. Tiger Stance mostly is going to see some changes. Active damage changed to physical instead of magic. Active damage changed to some different rates instead of some other ones that actually should kind of help him out a little bit as the game continues on and less early. But they've also changed active attack speed to be increased when you do activate it, but you won't get the increased attack speed while it's active. Now you're just going to actually get a new persistent effect where your basic attacks deal 15% of the total attack damage you have as bonus physical damage on hit. So instead of increased attack speed during the whole duration, you'll get that short burst, and then you'll just have the increased damage as you stay in that stance. And then now Bear Stance, Udyr now only dashes when stunning champions. So some changes to him. I don't really think they'll affect him up or down really too much, but it'll just kind of help him in some other ways. So I like the changes. I don't think it'll ruin his game or anything like that. Next we do have Vayne. As for her Condemn, the range now accurately matches her attack range on that. Some little bug fixes to Vi, but nothing that's really going to change her too much. We have Zac where they're just going to increase the transparency when in brush. And then they're going to do some tweaks to Zed. They actually have some cooldown reduction happening to his Living Shadows to help him out there. And hitting minions and monsters no longer reduces Living Shadows cooldown, but hitting enemy champions reduces Living Shadows cooldown by 2 seconds, which is up from 1 second. So that'll actually help him out just a little bit more so he can use his abilities just kind of in a more fluid team-fighty way. So that'll help him out. And those are pretty much your champion changes for this patch notes. We also do have some item changes happening. The Elixir of Fortitude is going to go up in cost, so you can't buy as many pots with it early, or just kind of change how you build early in the game. They talk about this in the preview, and I do agree with how they explain it, so you can go check that out. It was more of a gambling item that you're supposed to use early instead of something that people are just kind of using for safety. And then, and kind of buffing them just in lane for a cheap amount. And then they're also changing the amount of health pots and mana pots you can take at a time to 5 instead of just however many you wanted, which will affect laning phase for the better. So go check that out. I completely agree with what they're doing with this. 5 health pots is still a lot, to be honest, so there's still a lot of sustain in that if you were one of those people taking lots and lots of health pots. But it was basically making lanes boring. People weren't fighting in them, and there's just no point to that because your laning phase would just be super boring. There's nothing to do with that. So a little bit of a change there. Ionian Boots of Lucidity, going to be cheaper now to buy. Tiamat combined cost is actually going to be reduced, but the attack damage is reduced on it as well. Ravenous Hydra's combined cost is technically increased because of the change to Tiamat, but the total cost has been unchanged. So little tweaks to Tiamat, so it's a little cheaper, but Ravenous Hydra still costs the same. Some changes are happening to the Proving Grounds map. It's basically being changed now. It looks sweet. You can go check it out in the preview. They're also going to make a new, like ARAM game type, I believe. And now, instead of people dodging because they didn't like their pick, there's a new re-roll point system where everybody's going to be able to re-roll if you didn't like the champion you got, so you'd have a second chance without dodging. You get reroll credits as you play more games. So that's just some little cool changes that they're making, and it'll make it a lot funner. And that is just going to be great. So just little things there. They've also changed some other things happening in the game. Nothing too crazy. You can read them down below. Just little things happening. You can check those out. Also, as we all know, Riot does post all of these changes that I'm reading on their website. So if you want to read them a little bit more in depth, but pretty much I like to cover them quick or cover the important things for anybody who just wants to see them that way. As for the patch notes, my opinion on them, this is one of the better patch notes we've had in a long time. I usually never have any huge problems with any of the patch notes, but they're hitting some key things that I think they need hit, and they're fixing some things that are going to be good for some champions, and it's just nice to see some changes that I personally agree with. So if you have positive or negative responses to their changes, you can leave those down in the comments below. We can talk about them down there and discuss them amongst yourselves. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you have not to my channel. And that's pretty much going to cover it, guys. I'll just see all of you in the next video. With Kha'Zix, I'm going to get the stun on the Viger, then use my Eve and ignite him. Pretty quick kill. Going to do tons of damage to him because of that combination of abilities. So let's talk about our beginning items